I'm excited today because my favourite French chef, Gabriel Gatte, is here to make a beautiful, I'd say an entree.
An entree that you would not have served 50 years ago in Australia because it is made with salmon that was not there, but also salmon tartare is raw salmon. But when you think of it, it is not quite raw because all the seasoning kind of cures it and makes it very palatable. And it has become really so popular every restaurant, and it is so simple to make at home.
To think salmon these days we eat all the time, once a week.
All the time. And there's different types of salmon you can get. So you don't need a lot per person. Sometimes you just need like 70 grams for a tartare. And what you need to do, first, no bones, of course.
Yes.
And you need to cut it into slices first.
Okay. So you can see how marbled and fatty it is, isn't it?
Yes, it's very tender. It's very popular. So you cut that into slices. Then you cut the slices into sticks. Okay. So it is very simple to do.
Yeah, and because it is raw, but like you say, it's when it's mixed with a lot of other things, it cures it.
Yeah.
But you don't want it to be very chunky, you want it to be refined, and therefore you need to cut it into those, would you say about 1 centimetre or even a little bit smaller than that?
One or less. I think that sometimes if a recipe say 1 centimetre, lots of cooks has a tendency to make it a bit bigger. So I'd say a bit less than 1 centimetre.
Yes.
And it will be easier and more delicious to eat. And the secret, of course, is that the salmon needs to be very fresh. Okay? If you have the chance to go somewhere where they can cut the salmon in front of you, that's always, especially for something like that.
And particularly if you tell your fishmonger that you want it for a tartare, they will give you the freshest.
It's all about communication with the people you buy from.
Fantastic.
So this is really the first step. To the salmon, we are going to add some ingredients that give flavor and texture. And if you can cut for me a quarter of an avocado.
Yes.
And we are going to dice it in the same way as we did the tartare. So a quarter is good for 2 people.
Classic flavours together, right?
Yes.
Avocado, salmon.
Yeah, absolutely.
Look at that. That's a good avocado.
It's really important to learn to choose, to select avocado. So, you touch the avocado. If it's very hard, you can buy it, but you can't use it for 2 or 3 days. If you leave it outside, it will ripen quicker than if you put it in your fridge. And then usually in the shops, after 2-3 days, you can feel that just softness. And when it is just soft, then it is ready. Absolutely.
I prefer to buy them hard and then put them with the bananas or in a paper bag.
It works well to put with bananas or mangoes.
That's right.
I think they help each other. Yeah, but of course mangoes are not all in season.
That's right.
You're doing a good job, madame.
I've got to make sure it's correct for you,
I hope you're
Gabriel.
going to test your little son to do all of that because
Louis, he
can cook for you later on.
That's the plan.
That's the plan. That's what I did with my kids too.
Exactly.
Now, I am going to chop some shallots, but very finely. Okay.
French cooking. What's French cooking without a French shallot?
The shallots, that it is certainly, it gives an edge to a dish, to a salad.
It's not as intense as a brown onion or a red onion.
Not quite as sweet, but it is sharp, it is delicious.
Yep.
And you see, you just put more or less. Sometimes you don't want to cover too much the flavor of the salmon.
Yes.
Okay, and now the next step is yours. I'm going to ask you to crush some roasted hazelnuts.
Okay.
You know what? You don't have to use the hazelnuts, but it adds something to it. Yeah, you can do like that. Sometimes, it is good to use when there's little. If there's more hazelnut, sometimes what I do is that I lay a piece of baking paper, put my hazelnut, more baking paper, and with a saucepan, so rolling pin, I just crush them like that when there's a lot to do. But when you have only a small, like that.
Is this okay?
I'll give you 9.5 out of 10.
Ah, thank you.
I don't give you 10 because I think You spoil people when you give them a top score like that.
Exactly.
That's why you can put that directly in that.
Okay, and that's going to give a lovely crunch.
Lovely crunch. It will give another dimension to the dish. Now, I am going to start the seasoning. I'm going to ask you to cut very thinly 2 leaves of mint.
Okay.
Okay. You can use other things. You can use tarragon.
Oh, love tarragon
Yes.
and
Yeah, you can use dill. Dill. You can use chervil. You can use parsley. You can use coriander. But the mint gives it a freshness to it.
I guess it's
Look
all
at
those
that. Gosh, you are
soft-
skillful.
Thank you very much, Chef.
You have now quite an experience. How many years ago did you start?
13 years, but how
13
long were
years.
you on TV for?
I started in 1978. So that's 45 years ago.
It's a long time ago.
You were not born,
No.
but your mom used to love me.
She did. Everyone loved Gabrielle Gate.
No, that's great. You can put that in. Now to add a little bit of oomph to it, a little bit of Tabasco, a few
Lovely.
drops.
I like that.
Not too much, okay? Because you don't want anything to dominate too much. Then a little bit of lemon juice.
I think this is a good lesson to show everyone. It's all about control and balancing the flavour.
Yeah.
So just think about when you're doing it. Don't overdo the onions. Don't overdo the herbs. It's just a subtlety that we're looking for here.
Exactly right. That's the word. French cooking is subtle. It is the quality of the ingredients that sizzles, little seasoning, a little bit of salt, of course. Okay.
Salt.
Okay.
Done.
More or less. Okay. Please yourself, and just a little bit of olive oil. Not much, like a tablespoon or 2, and then just stir that. It's important
lovely.
to be fresh.
Yeah.
Okay.
And just that little bit of lemon
Yeah.
will start to cure this,
Yeah.
just a tiny bit.
And it is really, really lovely like that. Okay. The next step is to make a shape. I am using a ring. Okay. You can use a pastry ring, but at home I use PVC ring. You can get them from a plumbing supply. You have them 10 centimeter, cut to order.
Yep.
They don't cost much. They cost less than the expensive metal ring, and they're easy to wash, and it is healthy. You're not going to get any residue.
Yes.
So this quantity is enough for 2, okay? And so you don't, for something like that, it is delicious. It is at the same time a little rich. So you don't want to put too much, like 1 centimeter. It's delicate, okay? And then I put just a little bit of salmon raw. Okay, so it makes it a bit more noble, like that. Just maybe on the edge. Okay, so it looks good.
Love the colours.
Yeah. And then there's one more ingredient, crème fraîche.
Yes.
Okay, that we are going to put on top.
And you could use sour cream, but crème fraîche.
Yeah, you can use sour
tang
cream, of
to
course.
it.
It has got a different tang. That's great. That's
Probably too much.
plenty. No, that's all right. We'll,
And we're whisking it just to loosen it up.
to loosen up, just to give it a little bit of lightness.
Okay.
Okay. And if you want, you can also season the crème fraîche with something. In the same way as with a dessert, you might put vanilla. Yeah. You can put a little bit of lemon, but there's a bit of some tang already in the crème fraîche.
Exactly.
Yeah. While you are doing that, I am going to cut some chives into small pieces. Like we are talking 2 millimeter pieces, not too big, and that will be part of the garnish on top of the tartare.
Very nice.
That's really lovely.
You happy with that?
That's perfect.
Okay.
Yeah.
Lovely.
So what I do here, I go on top like that.
Oh,
okay.
It's much lighter, isn't it?
Yeah,
Just whisking
and
it.
just a layer. Okay. You take your time, so it goes to the edge of the tartare, and the ring will be removed in a minute, so you will see it will be really lovely. Don't worry if there's a little bit on the side of the ring, okay? And then I will just put a little bit, I might put the chives first, on top. Like
You're
that.
like an artist, Gabrielle.
Mais oui. Well, when you think of it, cooking is a creative form. That's why cooking is so pleasant, because look, in a few minutes here, you do something that is quite amazing. And be careful, are the camera is ready for us?
They're ready for you.
Because this is 1, 2, 3.
Ah.
Look at this, how delicate, how wonderful. This you would pay a lot of money in a restaurant.
I was just thinking that.
Doesn't cost that much at home to do something really special that you can serve with your best wine. Let's have a taste.
Yes, please.
Where's the champagne?
Oh, it'd be lovely with it.
So you see, you can have some bread, some toast with that, or just like that.
The hazelnuts, I love in this. I wouldn't think to put hazelnuts with the salmon and the creme fraiche, but absolutely delicious.
You can put pine nuts,
Oh, yeah. Yep.
walnuts, really good too.
Yeah. It's so delicate and it's so simple to make. And like we said at the beginning, there's no cooking.
There's no cooking, and it's really relatively cheap, because only 80 grams of salmon per person, 70 grams.
Yep.
It's good.
No, like you said, people pay good money for that in a restaurant. Gabrielle, merci.
Merci, it was a pleasure.